Hey, what's up everyone, Ragey Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. And it may have taken a little while, but it seems the boomers are finally noticing us. I got this sent my way from Suddenly Senior, so you'll have to excuse some of the writing in this article. This is a site for 50 plus seniors after all, and probably written by them as well. But there is just way too much magic in here, I have to get into this. There goes the bride, groom, and kids. With a pretty hilarious picture to boot, too. Oh yeah, they know what's going on. The first paragraph even gives that away. Okay, young folks don't want to marry and have kids. They know the stats, the divorce rates, an economy that is less predictable than lotto. I get it. They see the government lying in wait for them to say I do, like that hungry plant in Little Shop of Horrors singing, "Feed me, it's April, yum yum, got dual incomes." And I gotta correct you though at the very beginning here. At least when it comes to the guy's perspective, you're on the right track, but you didn't exactly make it all the way there. For us guys, especially ones with decent jobs and decent incomes, what we see lying in wait for us is a future ex-wife. Just lying there in wait to take everything we own. And God help us if we knock her up too. That's at least 18 years that our income gets to be drained. But it's actually this next segment here that I personally find the funniest. You know how Turd Flinging Monkey always says, just get a doll? If you really must keep having sex and internet porn isn't doing it for you, just get a sex doll. In the long run, it's a whole lot cheaper than all your other options. But these seniors, they're finding another use for this. Now that's lonely. That was me after hearing on the news that lonely Japanese women will charge a small fee for equally lonely Japanese men to watch each other eat a meal online while they are watching and Skyping each other on their PCs. Hey, that's a good sign, by the way. Women are now finally starting to pay for men's time. They're starting to catch on to who the actual catch is. But either way, here's the good part. On top of that, anatomically correct synthetic infant dolls are now the rave for elderly Japanese couples that will never have grandkids because their kids refuse to marry and have kids. Google an anatomically correct doll named Sophia. Yup, it's for grandparents not to be. This is honestly one thing that I never completely understood. That's probably because my parents are pretty decent. They both have already come to terms with the fact that they're never going to be grandparents, but they don't seem to care all that much. In fact, they're actually pretty happy that they're not going to be used as free babysitters. So I never really got the whole grandparents that just want grandkids thing, but I know it exists. I know this is a thing, and thankfully there's a doll for that. What a coincidence, huh? Though in this case, since we're talking about anatomically correct infant dolls, it's only a matter of time until some guy is caught having sex with one and then they just ban the whole thing. That's honestly what I'm waiting for nowadays. And now that I think about it, a little bit off topic, maybe this would be a good way to get pretty much everything we don't like banned. All of you more adventurous guys out there, if there's something you really don't like and want it to get banned, maybe if enough of you are caught having sex with it and using it as an outlet to not go out and date and meet real women, they may ban it. Just a thought. And moving on, this bit here actually also had me laughing, just like the author of this article apparently. When talking about an old boss he had who was from Lebanon, the guy had this to say in reference to his 3 daughters. Hell, any man who wants to marry my girls is fine with me. You wake them up and drag them out of bed to go to work. You buy them a car. Hell, I'm an Arab. Take all 3 at once if you want. Unfortunately for this guy, I don't think that's going to work out for him because it seems as if all the other guys around him, they see exactly how these women are, just like he does. These guys are probably looking for a wife, not another kid to babysit. Then we get to the story of the author's son. And this part right here, I just kind of facepalmed a little bit, not because I find it unbelievable, but because I've seen shit like this before. Here's what's really sad. My son is 37 and he has given up on being a husband and dad, which he would be great at. This happened the day he asked a girl at work if she wanted to join him for a burrito. She screamed, grabbed her chest, and ran out of her cubicle the way E.T. did when Drew Barrymore let out that epic scream in Close Encounters. The poor kid just sat there dazed with a deer in the headlights expression on his face and then did a George Costanza of Seinfeld fame muttering, It was just a burrito! This, by the way, is pretty much the reaction of any guy the first time he's met with a hysterical woman at work. You know he must have been thinking, like, what the hell is this? I thought this was the workplace. Since when is this not an offense that gets you fired on the spot? But I guess we know why she didn't get fired on the spot. The office explained that she had quote-unquote baggage. You think? My son blurted out in near shock, still dumbfounded. I mean, goddamn, we've all gotten the runs after eating Taco Bell, but overreact much? Then his son continues. Dad, while in college and since I graduated in 2006, I've known close to 100 people. With the exception of my friend Wayne and his wife, and you and Mom, all of the other 75% of them that were married are divorced. Did I not say things like this for years? Back when my YouTube channel was first getting started, I made this point all the damn time. It doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter how you try to spin it. You can call all these guys sexist for not wanting to get married. The fact remains that growing up, these young boys are gonna look out and see what's happening to all the men in their lives. They're gonna see their dads, their uncles, their male friends just get destroyed by divorce, and they're gonna learn, I don't want that for myself. Doesn't matter how you spin it, you're not gonna get around their basic self-preservation instinct. Oh, and funny enough, here's another perfect example of that. This author asked one of his wife's cousins how long he's been married, and he says he's been happily divorced for 15 years, and then had this to say. The day she said I do was the day the clause came out. It was one material demand after another. Wow, you guys are finally noticing, huh? It's almost as if the mask comes off the second they got you by the balls, huh? And for all you women out there who don't see this as a problem and are just thinking, this guy just picked the wrong woman. He just needs to pick the right one and this wouldn't happen. Well, how about if you went back in time to a time before you had marital rape laws, and if you got married, your husband could just force you to have sex with him anytime he wanted. And imagine now if you complained about that and you were told, well, what's the problem? Just pick the right guy. Just pick a guy who won't rape you and it's not going to be a problem. You probably wouldn't take that excuse and you probably wouldn't get married, would you? That's pretty much the situation guys are in right now. Oh sure, we could play the lottery and quote-unquote pick the right woman and get married and hope we don't get screwed over. Or we could just not get married. Guess which one the majority of guys are picking nowadays. And before signing off, this line right here is the perfect example of why before you marry someone, and this goes for both men and women, pay the money to do a financial background check on that person. You don't want to end up in this position. A marketing supervisor I knew told me his and her I do's was met with a revelation. The bride's admission? I have an unpaid student loan of $120,000. Surprise! That's right, if your potential future partner is hiding some massive amounts of debt, chances are they only want to use you to pay it off. Just say no because they may not be as honest as this next woman here. While in a Publix grocery, a rather attractive woman my son's age belted out the following. No man is going to want me. I owe Emory University $110,000. At least she was honest as opposed to my old boss's bride. Now I gotta take minor exception here. She's honest with you, but she's not trying to marry you. I gotta wonder if she's gonna be as honest with any potential boyfriend. If so, then she'd actually win points in my book. It's not that often you find an honest one in current year. But all that aside, yeah, I hope you guys had about as much fun with this as I did. I wasn't expecting anyone to send me links from senior websites, let alone watching these boomers finally take notice of us after all this time. And the biggest shock, to be honest with you, is I didn't see any shaming language in this article. This guy was pretty badass. He wrote the whole thing with a pretty good sense of humor. He was willing to admit, hey, there's a lot of problems in current year. Maybe we're gonna have to fix this before people get married again. But I don't think any fixing is gonna be happening anytime soon. So in the meantime, just get a doll. If you want a decent one, check my description box. And that's all I gotta say, guys. Thanks for listening.